Harley Earl, particular order here. It works out good for us here. The first inductee is the chief of design, Harley Earl. Now Harley is accredited with many things, of course. One that was most influential in the Corvette in its infancy, in bringing the Corvette to fruition. He also did such notable things as wraparound windshield, cars without running boards, and the one that sticks most notably in my mind is the 1951 Sabre and the wonderful show cars that he did there. He certainly was one of the world leaders in design, and also is credited with another one of my favorites, the Chevy Nomad, as well as the Cadillac Eldorado Brougham.
Coming to you in living color and historical black and white.
I believe this film, far better than any words of mine, will give you a better understanding of the important roles played by stylists and styling in General Motors.
Harley Earl was born November 22, 1893 in Hollywood, California. In 1914, Harley went to work for his father, J.W. Earl, owner of the Earl Automotive Works. Their business reflected their showbiz location. They built coaches and chariots to put in the movies, and they customized personal cars for the people who made the movies. It was these two elements, Hollywood movies and automotive styling, that gave Harley his flair for color and design.
Harley Earl was probably the most influential man in American automobile design. He brought a flamboyance to that no one had to that point.
For Earl, the easiest way to build a custom car for his flashy clients was to put an Earl body on a Cadillac chassis. When an order for 100 of these chassis was placed, Harley Earl came to the attention of Lawrence Fisher, president of the Cadillac Division. As a result, Earl was lured to Detroit, where he designed the LaSalle. The enormous success of this first car, designed by a stylist, not an engineer, prompted Alfred P. Sloan, president of General Motors, to ask Earl to head up the Art and Color section, a new kind of research and development department. Engineering, however, was not happy about giving up the fun aspect of car manufacture.
See, in the old days, the chief body engineer designed the car. They did it, it was part of engineering. So when Harley came, they resented taking that away from them and starting a whole new department.
To help overcome this resistance, Harley relied on some of his innate people skills.
But he was a character.
Was an imposing 6'4". When he spoke and when he put his finger out, you listen.
He was a fantastic orchestrator. He was the maestro. He knew how to play everyone. And he knew how to play not only the models, the designers, but he knew how to play management.
The result of Harley's unique ability of persuasion was heightened cooperation between design and engineering.
Sound engineering is indeed of prime importance in every good product. Another prime ingredient of sales leadership is design leadership. Styling that builds eye appeal into the product. The very favorable public acceptance of General Motors styling is made possible by the unique combination of policy, facilities, and personnel.
The acceptance of the newly renamed styling section allowed Earl to present many other innovations. He introduced clay modeling. He was the first to hire women as designers. And there was that most unique of sales and research tools, the Motorama.
Motoramas were the Hollywood coming out of Harley Earl. I can think of no better example than that. They were show business, they were spectacular, They were a showcase.
It was the Motorama which set the stage for possibly the greatest manifestation of the cooperation between style and engineering, the Corvette.
Well, you really have to credit Harley Earl with the Corvette, the original Corvette.
The father of the Corvette is only one man. That's Harley Earl. He was the creator. He had the idea to do a sports car. Apparently he'd been down to Watkins Glen with his Sabre.
And I remember one time Zoya and I, we went to Watkins Glen, and at 6 o'clock in the morning, there comes Harley. He had driven all night through from here to get there to Watkins Glen.
And while he was there, he saw some other sports cars that were racing. And he had the idea that we ought to do a sports car. Or the Motorama car. He didn't tell anybody, but he organized his little studio. Secrets to the studio away from the normal kid. Being inquisitive and an enthusiastic kid. And with a pasty. One night I went down and opened the door to the studio. I looked. I couldn't believe my eyes. Here was this full-size clay model of this wonderful sports car. Had wraparound windshield, had concealed headlights. It looked like it was going 60 miles an hour, standing still in voluptuous shapes. Great taillights out the back. There was the two little fins on the top. Well, that turned out to be the Motorama show car.
The promise of tomorrow. This is the mood of the Motorama. A promise made explicit by customized cars such as the Chevrolet Corvette. These cars embody principles of design and engineering that foretell future motoring.
Now, you can say it was influenced by the Sabre, and maybe it was, but the idea behind that car was to use Chevrolet components and make an inexpensive, affordable sports car.
If you recall, the Corvette Roadster, then there was a Corvette Coupe and a Corvette station wagon, which turned out to be the Nomad. They were all based on the Corvette.
This show car caught the imagination of people. They came in, and the response was so overwhelming that the corporation decided, well, I guess we better build this.
I want a Corvette.
I thought you would.
So Harley Earl was really, kind of the guiding force behind I'm talking about the aesthetic part of it.
And he had that magic knack. I don't know what it was. He just knew which way to turn and how people would feel.
I only saw Mr. Earl once as when I first started here. Very immense person, very powerful person. And of course he was consulting at the time, which meant he was visiting. And they said, that's Mr. Earl. And so I felt very fortunate at least to have seen him after admiring all those great cars that came out under Mr. Earl.
And he created, during an era when styling was the most important element in a car.
He retired from General Motors in November 1959, passing the baton to Bill Mitchell. The Corvette from 1953 to 1962 was Harley Earl's concept, a symbiotic marriage of style and function. It was his legacy that cars were developed
under the direction of a designer, not a marketing guy, not a platform manager, but a designer. It was done with emotion, it was done with feeling. And you go out and the car still looks good.